all works. But I just wanted you to look at that.
It's not letting me sign in. It's not.
Okay, it's not letting you sign in. Is that what I got? Sorry, Sunshine, I think that was you. It's not letting you sign in. I don't know who said that. I can't hear them, but if you're having trouble signing in, having issues, I could work with you separately, maybe in the sandbox time to help get the access going and all of that. That way we can get through what we do right now, and then we'll help you out. And I don't mind helping out individually because that's my job. So that is some of the cool things it does. And what I really wanted to highlight on why that's such a big deal, oops, start the timer, is I want to show you how this all works. InsertLearning, basically, like I said, allows you to turn those online articles into interactive, engagement tools, okay? So as a social studies teacher, like I said in the SLAM portion, I tend to try to find relevant news articles, things that are happening today in our society that connect to what we're studying. It's always a fun activity. And I always like to post those articles. And before, I'd have to take these articles, copy and paste them onto a Google Doc, scaffold them and reformat them and do all this and that to get students to engage and understand that content better, especially those who are English language learners or struggling readers or whoever. And it was time consuming, and InsertLearning actually took a lot of that time away from me and gave students the ability to access some of this content. I'm not a fan of trying to find content that's easier for students to grasp. Sometimes there isn't. If I want them to read a web article or a news article, it is what it is. It's what you find online. And so I want to be able to give them the scaffolds to rise up to meet the challenge of reading some difficult text. And the InsertLearning does help make that happen. So what you saw here with InsertLearning, what you can do with InsertLearning is pretty powerful. Again, you could highlight text. If you don't want students to read, maybe you found a massive article, you don't want them to read everything, you can highlight some of the important sections you want them to read right off the bat. Or you may want to just highlight vocabulary words for them to identify for them. You can insert questions and ask questions. Have them reflect on what they just read by asking questions. What's great about InsertLearning is not only can you ask your own questions, they do provide stems for you to quickly insert. If you, for example, want just them to paraphrase, to summarize a paragraph, there's a stem for that. Or identify the main idea of a paragraph. You can just click and insert that stem, and I'll show you how that works. You could start a discussion and have students discuss and share answers in a non-question format, so non-assessment, but you could see, hey, I want their opinion. You can embed video to have for those students who learn better visually through video than they do reading. That could provide context or support for them. You could also record yourself sharing something or sharing opinion or summarizing what you just read there. Again, another tool for yourself. And then add extra notes to text to provide context and vocabulary. On the student side, if you are able to get there, you may notice that you're able to annotate text. You're able to highlight and take notes yourself as a student, which is something that as a teacher, you're able to look at later down the road when the assignment is over with as well. So a lot of cool, powerful tools and a pretty easy to use platform. That's why I like InsertLearning, mainly because it's super easy to use in the end. Once you get comfortable with it, it's very, very easy. So what I want to do is to show you how it works right now. Before I do that, let me hop back over. All right, Lynn, we'll have to check your download on that, but we'll help you with that. Ingrid asks, are you able to do the same thing with the article downloaded from new ELA? I'm not sure on that, Ingrid. I believe InsertLearning only works if it's on the Chrome and you're accessing it there. You could give it a shot, but I don't think it's for downloaded materials. So let's show you how this works. And what I did was I pulled up a different article, and I'm going to share it. Here is the article I pulled up, another history.com, because it's for me just easy to work on. And I don't know about you, but my wife and I are been binge watching the show The Crown recently. We just started. We're well behind. We're always behind on shows, but we just started watching The Crown on Netflix and really enjoying it. And one of the big storylines that always it refers back to is Prince Edward and his abdication or giving up of the throne. Now, let's just say I wanted my students to read this article about Edward VIII giving up or abdicating of the throne. However, when I go through this article, I'm looking through it. There's a lot of information here. I may not want them to know all this information. I may not care about all this information. If you find this article and you're like, okay, I need to build this up, all you need to do is go to your InsertLearning extension tab. And I believe you won't be able to see it on my screen maybe, but you have the InsertLearning. It's an IL in a purple box at the top of where your extensions are. All you need to do whenever you're on that article is click that extension, and up is going to pop this toolbar on the left side of the page, Such I do not spoil anything on the Crown format. I appreciate it. So anyway.
Trust me, I won't.
It's okay.
I won't. And also Barrington or Bart, I just finished that, the first season. So watch that too.
Awesome. I will. I saw that online. All right. So with this abdication of the throne here, you can see this little toolbar that comes up. And there are several different things that you could do. Again, really, really simple. First tool you see here is highlight text. If you click that, you'll see that it turns yellow. And all you really need to do is highlight or click your mouse and drag what you want highlighted. So if I click and drag for there, you can see that I've highlighted that text. Now, what's cool about this is you could either change the color if you like, oh, I want this section green and I want, this section different color. You can change the color. It goes green, blue, all to yellow, okay? You could also add. So this little add button here gives you a chance to enter a comment. So if you enter a comment with that plus button, you can enter a comment. So round. You don't know the story. Prince Edward gave up his throne so he can marry a twice divorced American woman, and it was very, very frowned upon. But you can see I could add those types of comments for students to see and to interact with. You could also add sticky notes. Sticky notes, well, I'll come back to sticky notes. You can add questions. So if I hit this question button, I could add questions. And what it does is you can see my mouse goes over certain spots of the text. And if I click on that text, it will below it have a create question. You can set how many points you want that question. And you can ask whatever question you want. It's open-ended questions. So I can ask my own question, type something out here, or here's your stems right here. Click to select the stem. And you can see here, there's summarize the above text, identify, list 2 supporting details, explain how you know the purpose of the text is to inform, all the way down. So if I want them to summarize, I can click summarize the above text. And then when I'm ready for it, I hit create. There it is. So there's the question, summarize the above text. And you could also change them. And this is something that is new to me, that I haven't done is turning it into a multiple choice question. So if I type something in, let me see what it says. There you go. You could turn it into a multiple choice question by typing right here certain things. So if you don't want it to be a multiple choice, instead, all you do on your teacher end is type in and add responses. So I can add B or C there. So that's the question button right here. Pretty cool to add questions. And what is even better, like someone mentioned in the chat before, it's like Edpuzzle, you can, as a teacher, go and look at some of those questions and see what students responded with. The discussion, insert a discussion, is pretty self-explanatory. You can insert a discussion similar to a question. You highlight a paragraph, you click it, and you can ask a question. create, and you can post that up. It's there for them. And there's that question for the discussion. You could choose whatever classes you want to send that to that are linked to your Google Classroom or your InsertLearning classes as well. And then I want to show you the other one, which is the sticky note. The sticky note is a powerful tool where you could add notes. So you can add notes here. You could also add YouTube videos just by putting in the URL. So I have this YouTube video of King Edward's speech where he gave up the throne. All I have to do is copy that link, come back here and hit paste, and there is the YouTube video that I could add to supplement a little bit more to that. You could also embed things. I've done it before, though I had some trouble today embedding tweets, if that's something you want to show, if it's a more current event topic or something. Just I'm thinking social studies, but whatever subject you want, you can embed tweets or other information using embed codes. So there's a lot you can add to there. Down here where it says more options, this is where you can assign to students, or you can share this with teachers. Again, if you want to view this as a student, it's a great place to do it. So if you hit view as student right here, it takes you over to the student view, and you can see, all right, here's the student view. I can answer. Here's a here's a question for discussion. Add and watch the video. All of that. So resume that teacher view. So that's here, and there's other topics. You can print it. And the go to dashboard will go there in just a minute to show you what that is here. Now, let me go here. Any questions that I see here? Nope. Doesn't look like any questions in the chat. Anybody want to ask a question?
I'd like to ask a question. Brian, how did you get the video of yourself in that activity that we did?
Thank you for reminding me on that. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me show you that. So that's the same thing with sticky notes. If you hit a sticky note and do it again, this is what you want to do on sticky note. Then you go to this little icon up here with the camera. And thank you for reminding me. If I hit that camera, up is going to pop a video. And you can see me. Here I am. And what I would do is just hit the record button. I'll be recording this, so on and so forth. You can add, add your input and whatever you want to add in there. You hit stop. Just hit the record button. There's my video. Recording this. I say so on and so forth. You can add, and there's my video right there. So you can preview your video, see if it works for you, and then you hit use video, and there it is. Thank you for reminding me of it. That is a cool part too. So there is that. That is essentially the functions of it. It's pretty simple, but again, you can brainstorm ways on how to use this. Again, if your students are really struggling with the idea of summarizing a text or finding the main point or deciding if this is a text that's persuading or informing, these tools, these questions you could use to help really dictate that and get students help and support and scaffold they need, especially when it comes to difficult text. Okay. Now, how do we assign this to students? I want to show you that part right now. And this is where the IL button, this is the assign button, comes in. If you click this button, you can see some of the classes you've created. So these are some of my InsertLearning classes, but you could also down here at this button, assign to Google Classroom, the Google Classroom button here, share to Google Classroom. So if I hit that, share to Google Classroom.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, no.
We can't see your screen.
Hold on then. Oh, it stopped presenting. I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you, guys. Get that back up right now. So here we go. So here it is again, you guys. Sorry about that. So again, InsertLearning tab right here at the top left. You hit assign. This is all my InsertLearning classes, not Google Classroom, but my InsertLearning classes I've created in the past. A lot of them are classes I don't have anymore. If you want to assign to Google Classroom, it's down here where it says share to Google Classroom button. If you click that, it'll bring up all of your Google Classroom pages that you are a part of. I'm the EdTech coach at Everett Alvarez, so I have a ton of pages up here. And for some reason, I think I cannot get to your class, but I think it's the top one right there. And if I hit share to these classes, you select the classes you want, you hit share, and it should be an assignment in that Google Classroom space. And it will be there. Okay, so that's how you assign to those questions. April, that is something I did not know. Thank you for letting me know that. That is something to take note. I don't know why that is. All right, so that's going to take me back to any other questions you may have before we quickly move on to the next topic. Okay, no questions. Excellent. So I want to now show you how you can look at, from the teacher perspective, what students have said. And that, in that case, you need to go to what's called the dashboard of your thing, the dashboard. So let me show you where to access your dashboard. And I'm actually going to go back to the inauguration day one where you guys were on there. And so here's my inauguration one that you guys were looking at. Some of you were able to access and look at. The dashboard is accessible two different ways. I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and you can also do it just by going to InsertLearning.com, and in the top right of the page it says log in. You can access it there as well. But the dashboard is where you can look at student work. So if you hit this button down here, the more options, and you go to dashboard right here, go to dashboard, click on that. It'll ask you, it may ask you to sign in. I've already been signed in. So it's going to come right here to my lessons. And you can see I have several different lessons, 3 of them right now. This is how I can go back if I want to quickly access those articles that that I want to, have them up on the screen for students or whatever. This is where you can go to the dashboard. But what I want to do is, let's just say I want to go back and now start grading your work. I want to start grading some of the answers and responses here. You go up to this section called grades on the dashboard. If you click grades, you start filtering. I want to grade the InsertLearning class. I want to select why inauguration day falls on here, and I can filter by question or by student if you want. And you can come down here and you can see some of the answers from some of you. And what's cool about this is where you can provide feedback. That feedback students can access on the InsertLearning class page. But I could say, hey, good job, you got 2 points there. Wonderful answer response. Hopefully our feedback is a little bit more engaging. Yes. Oh, again, sorry.
We couldn't see any of that.
Again, I'm sorry. Let me know. Feel free to unmute yourself and yell at me, guys. I'm used to it already anyway, from teaching, being the EdTech coach. I want to make sure you guys understand this. So if you missed it, the dashboard, this is what it looks like. So I apologize. This is the front of the dashboard. Again, to grade, you want to go to grades, and then you want to filter. So I want to filter with my classes and my questions, or lessons, which lesson I want, and then I'll focus on inauguration day. And you can see here again, here's the responses you all have. You can select the point value. This is out of 2 points. I want to give you 2 points, give you a good feedback. And if the feedback, we want to make sure feedback's good, you could do it that way. So that is how you can go through with the questions. Now, as far as the questions go, this is, if you have a lot of questions, this is where you're going to find it. As far as the discussions, if you want to look at the discussions, you can view the discussions directly on the article itself and what students were adding. So I know I had a discussion question. You can't go back here on grades and look at the discussion questions. You have to go to the article itself. So I'll go back to the article itself, and I could see the discussions right here, some of what you guys posted. Okay, so that is how you can assess. Now you can download these grades as a CSV file. If you want to upload it straight to Synergy, there's obviously a way to do that. Some of you may know how, or you could submit these grades to Google Classroom as well to give your students a grade. So if you hit submit these grades to Google Classroom, it should update. Again, I'm going to be fully transparent here. I have not tried that out yet, and mainly because of all the Google Classroom fun with synergy that has happened the past semester, trying to get that all squared away. I have not really tried that out this time around, but theoretically, your grades would then submit to Google Classroom on that assignment. Okay, so that is basically how you can assess students and take note on there. Any other questions? And I apologize again for when windows pop up, I got to remember to hit that share the tab instead. But are there any questions on InsertLearning, how this works? All right. So again, I want to remind you real quick on how you can access and submit grades on questions. You access the dashboard. You can sign in on InsertLearning.com and log in that way. Select the grades, which is at the top of the dashboard, and you can filter to assess. And choose the class, the article, the question you want to review, maybe the specific student. You can do that as well on there. Pretty simple, but like I said, pretty powerful. Yes, Patty, you can upload grades to Synergy from CSV files. As far as how that works, that's a whole nother ballgame. I can show you how later, but it is possible. All right. So that being said, that was what I wanted to show you all. I wanted to give you kind of a rundown of this, and I wanted you to see how it works. Now, if you are someone who signed in as a role of a student, what you're going to want to do pretty simply is kind of remove the InsertLearning Chrome extension, delete it from your Chrome extensions, and then reinstall it, sign in, and select your role as a teacher. And that way you could have teacher access. And that way, when we come back for the sandbox, you can start thinking about how you want to utilize and how you could utilize this in your classroom. So that is that. Are there any last questions? I'm a little early on wrapping up. Any last questions I can help you with? Anything that pops into your head? Oh,
how would paraeducators use it? How would paraeducators use this?
How would paraeducators use this? Good question. Now, let me ask you, do you have access to Google Classroom of any of the teachers you work with?
Yes, all of them.
Okay, excellent.
I do functional academics.
Excellent.
I'm a para for functional academics, but I don't do any of the lesson planning, and I don't create any assignments. I support.
So in that regard, that would be something you'd have to work with your teacher with to see what you can, how you can incorporate this into the classroom. Theoretically, though, as you being someone who is a part of the Google Classroom, probably as a teacher, has the role of the teacher in the Google Classroom, you could directly post these articles of that you built with InsertLearning directly there. So that is a possibility. Now, obviously, though, as a paraeducator, you want to work with your teacher. So that'd be a discussion you'd have to have with your teacher on this. Yeah,
my teacher's not here today.
Okay. But that could be something. And again, we're recording this. You could share that out. We have the recording access that you could share with, and that could help. So good question. Ingrid, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I forgot what it was.
Oh.
I was going to just say that when I went back to the IL, if you go to the top where there's that little circle, it lets you toggle between student and teacher, just like Lynn had reminded you. I didn't have to sign all the way out. It just let me change the function usage.
Good. Okay. So let me go and let me walk through that to show people. So I think I know what you're talking about. That's one I haven't used, but I'm assuming you're talking about top left right here. Oh, that's
let me see. You're not on the page yet.
Okay. So you're talking, yeah. Are you talking?
It's your icon.
Yeah, go to your icon.
My icon right here. There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
Awesome. So you don't even have to. Excellent. Perfect. So again, if you want to switch over to teacher, icon, teacher, there you go. Thank you. Again, I'm learning something new on this regard. But again, I've rarely ever gone to student as is, so I was kind of finding ways to help you out. But there you go. So that's how you do it. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate you sharing that with everyone. All right. And then, or excuse not Lynn, Ingrid, thank you. And Lynn, speaking of Lynn, I just saw your question. Lynn, I can try to help you out in the break to see what we could do to help you get in there. Lynn Quintero. Okay. All right. Any last questions? Excellent. So we got a 15-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. Well, 11:15. So come back in at 11:15 for the last bit, which is your creation, your sandbox time to be able to create. We're going to come right back to this link, so you don't feel free to leave. If you want to exit out and just come back in, that's totally fine. But at 11:15, there'll be another sign-in. We're going to spend some time giving you opportunity to work on this, and then you will be able to, we'll have a time for you to share on a Padlet what you learned or what you're working on, and then we'll send you on your way. Thank you so much. So just join this session right here. And Lynn, if you want help why you couldn't see the annotations, stick around and I will work with you on that one. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in at 11:15.